Clayton Hester here from the KFVS Digital News Desk. Recently, Kentucky passed, or rather, excuse me, has proposed a law about the three strikes law in reference to violent crimes, in reference to imprisonment for life after that point. In order to get a better understanding of what the law means, whether it passes, what the implications are, we spoke to Ihsan Alkhatib. He's an associate professor of political science at Murray State University, and so we talked to him about the law. He's an expert in community policing and politics and the like, and so he gave us a bit of a look at what this law could mean, whether it passes. He believes it will, and so we'll talk to him. All right, and so we are talking about this proposal within among Kentucky lawmakers of a three strikes law, and for those unfamiliar, the idea is that for three violent crimes, anybody that is convicted three times with regards to a violent crime, they would then be they would be basically, that would be life in prison afterwards. Is this something that's fairly common? Is this something that other states do? What is the situation there?
Yeah, yes, a number of states have that. And the reason for it is this public frustration with crime. And as to Kentucky and Louisville in particular today, we've had this irrational sentiment of demonizing all police and attributing to them that they're racist or they're not fair, that they're out to get people, they're out to kill people, which is completely not true. We have in this country about 600,000 police officers, and we have millions of citizen police encounters, and most of them overwhelmingly go without much incident. The police generally in this country are good. This is not 1950, this is not 1960, this is not 1970. The police are diverse. The police have better education. However, a few incidents, unfortunate incidents, have given the false impression that the police are the problem. And you couple that with COVID, with the lockdown, with unavailability of services, and then you have this increase in crime. And this increase in crime, you have a small percentage of people keep committing crime over and over again. And this sense of frustration that we have this revolving door has led to this idea of three strikes and you're out, that basically we're done with you, we're giving you more than one opportunity. You made a mistake the first time, the second time, made another mistake, the third time, this is not a mistake, this is who you are, and therefore you don't belong in society. This is the sentiment behind this law.
Okay. And so what are there any potential challenges with this, as far as is this something that goes against any other laws that may have legal challenges or anything like that we'd expect down the line?
Yeah, it was challenged, I think, at one point on the basis in other states, on the basis that it's a violation of the Eighth Amendment, the cruel and the unusual punishment, and the Supreme Court said it's not. The U.S. Supreme Court said it's not. So it's possible to be challenged on the basis of the state constitution, and then that would be another issue. The likelihood that it will be struck down is very low, actually, on the basis of even the Kentucky Constitution. I know the Kentucky Constitution in many ways. I'm not a Kentucky lawyer, and I'm not really familiar with the Kentucky Constitution, but we had a guest judge. And in many ways, the Kentucky Constitution gives the criminal defendants more rights than the federal Constitution. But I doubt in this specific issue it will be a problem for the lawmakers to pass this law.
All right, and that was really the next place to go with it. You know, supermajority for Republicans who are proposing this. Yeah, is this something that we do expect to see pass and be upheld? I know that you pretty much answered that question, but do you think that the course is fairly smooth sailing then getting it to
I think
pass?
so. Yeah, I think the issue. I think that they should, when thinking of it, they should think of the cost of this. I mean, imprisoning people for life without parole is not cheap. I mean, it costs money, and as people get older, the medical needs increase, so the taxpayer is going to be paying for them when they're really old, and when their threat to society is really low to non-existent. So I think that they should really think long and hard of it, like the lifetime without parole, for two reasons. One is the cost, medical cost, and the two is a practical reason that they're not really a threat. People, older people, are not known for committing crime. So you put somebody in prison for lifetime. Is that a good use of taxpayer money to keep them incarcerated when they're 70s, the 70s and the 80s, the 60s, when we know that this age demographic is not known for committing violent crime? And then there's the impact on the community. I mean, when you take these people who are parents, brothers, husbands from their family, there is a price that the family pays as well. So this is not a magic solution. There are costs involved. I lean towards the idea that we should give judges discretion. We should not deal with justice as if it's like a McDonald's. We want to standardize everything. It's important to give the judges to deal with situations case by case and impose sentencing. Here, the hands are going to be tied. That they have to mandatory. They have to impose these sentences. The violent felony. What is a violent felony? I mean, it's one when people think everyone agrees, like taking a child, raping them, killing them. This is horrible human being. Right? That's a horrible human being. But not all violent felonies are of that nature. But all violent, so-called violent nature, whether violent felony, what is a violent felony, are considered the same. And I don't think they are the same. But when you have a human being, a judge, somebody qualified to make decisions, who is neutral, objective, does their job, I want them to decide whether that person deserves to be 20 years in prison or lifetime in prison versus it's a mandatory, automatic imposed.
All right. Anything else to mention about the bill? Anything else that any other thoughts on it?
There are other provisions in the bill. I think one of them that I found odd is that the members of the board, parole board, if they make decisions that I can't remember the exact language. Let me look here. That if they make inappropriate decisions, then the governor can remove them, which I found odd, that you would be on a parole board, and if they don't like your decisions, they should be able to remove you here. Allows the governor to remove a parole board member who is making inappropriate decisions. So what is an inappropriate decision? I mean, if you put somebody on the board and they're supposed to look at what's in front of them and make a judgment call, basically. So I think that they're trying. I think it's a real problem. They're trying to deal with them, and that's a good thing. They're not ignoring a problem. They're doing something about shopkeepers and using reasonable force to prevent theft, because we've seen videos of people walking into a store and getting things and walking away, and they want to give them immunity to the shopkeepers and employees using reasonable force. But I don't know the consequences of that if we're going to have more violence in society. And I'm not sure that businesses are going to be eager to use force to play law enforcement, basically, with the suspected shoplifters or thieves that steal from them.
All right. Dr. Ihsan Alkhatib,